What's up everyone and welcome back to A&R Gaming. This time we're going to be talking about Tales of Crestoria. We're going to be doing a little bit of a tier list for it, and we're not going to go over every single character, but we're going to go over all the ones from what I rank as God down to S tier, which is still quite a few of them. And just keep in mind that there is no really set tier list right now. The game is very new, so everyone has a little bit difference of opinions, but generally you're going to see them all fall around the same line of thinking. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start from the top. So first off, we have Leon. I consider him God tier because he is the most powerful offensive character in the game right now. He has a 10% increase to his allies' attack bonus, which is great. And then he also has very low cooldowns for his abilities. So it allows him to use his arts quite often and also apply those the status effect that he has, which is a curse status. So all in all, he's very, very powerful. He's the most powerful character in the game. Next, we have Velvet, who is also what I consider God tier. Now, she's not quite as powerful as Leon. She is almost on par with him attack-wise, but the problem with her is, and like I said, she's still God tier, so it's not really a huge problem, but she is a good bit slower. So you want to use her as more of like an opener, and that's how you can really capitalize on her kit. But she really is incredibly powerful. It's just one of those things where she's a little bit slower of a character, so you're not going to get her off quite as much as you would with Leon, but still holds her own incredibly well. Alright, next we're going to be looking at Estelle. So Estelle is a very interesting character. I think objectively she's not quite as good as a few of the others, but I put her third for a reason, and I think that that's because there's a lot more attack characters in this game, offensive characters in this game, than healers. And I think that she is an incredibly good healer, and because there are so few of them relative to offense characters, I think that makes her a lot more valuable. So I would even go ahead and pick this one as your first character whenever you go through your rerolls, because I think that it's more important that you have her than a lot of the other characters. So go ahead and take that as you will as far as your rerolls are concerned. But she also has a very high SP and defense, so she actually can take a lot of damage, surprisingly. She has a really strong AoE heal and a really strong single target heal. And she is very good to have in basically any set that you want because she's a healer. Alright, next we have Cress. Now Cress is more of a balanced bruiser. He's not too terribly high as far as like stats are concerned, but what really makes him good, in my opinion, is that he has a pretty amazing art set. So his ability Phoenix Dance has a 30% chance to cause burn damage to a single target. So right there you're increasing the damage by quite a bit with that burn effect. So raw stat wise, he might look like he's not quite as strong, but if you include that pretty decently high percentage chance of that burn on there, he starts to actually look quite good. Also, you can't discount the fact that he also has the ability of HP of sword type allies restored by 15% when enemy breaks. So he has very strong synergy with other sword type allies whenever you're creating mono teams. And now we have Kanata, which is our first S. And that one, she's fairly similar to Cress in the way that she's just a balanced character overall, but she does bring pretty powerful AoE. So her ability Cursed Blade Shadow actually gives 380% damage. So it's very powerful, and AoE abilities cannot be discounted in any game really. But the fact that she has that definitely makes her someone that you want to pay attention to in this game and grab her if you can. Alright, so next we have Kanano, who is also an S tier, and she has very high damage, and she also has a very low turn count for her abilities. So it really makes her a good character to have offensively. She also is a longsword type, so that's very good. She synergizes pretty well with Kanata because of that. And she has a pretty good ability that provides 15% health regeneration to longsword type units. So that's a definite boost to anyone that you're trying to get that synergy with weapon type wise. Alright, so next we have Masela, and she is a supporter unit. She's very versatile, so you can really plug and play her as you need her. She has a very good defensive capability, and she's also pretty decent at offense as well. So she's really just kind of a jack of all trades. As far as her abilities are concerned, she does give a passive ability boost to defense for all allies by 15%, which is great. And then she also has a heal aid art, which restores 45% HP to a single target, which is of course always good. And she even has the ability to cast a burn on a target with the igniting pillar. So those are all benefits for her. Makes her a very strong character, so a good pick that you can throw into really any team and make work. Alright, so next we have Chronos. Now he is an amazing AoE character. So once again, strength-wise, he's not quite as strong as Kanata with her AoE, but he still does quite a bit of damage, and he's all about the AoE. His abilities, Bite Force and Chronos Collider, they both do 120% damage to at least 2 enemy targets within the range. So he really is a good alternative, I guess you could say, for Kanata if you do not have her. But he's very good, especially if you want to use a character, or you're trying to make a mono team or something like that with his specific type. He'll slot in perfectly. Alright, next we have Reed. Now he's a very powerful offensive character, but he also has a pretty unique ability. Well, I wouldn't say unique, I mean, other characters do have it, but he has a good chance for it. But basically he's a big fire damage dealer, and his ability on its own does 380% damage, his Burning Phoenix. So it does a lot of damage. It's nothing to scoff at in the slightest bit, and fire element types are usually characters that are easier to build at the beginning of the game anyways. On top of everything else, you also have to remember that he has plus 20 to the OL gauge of fire allies when enemy breaks. So that makes him a very strong synergy for fire type allies, which is, once again, as I mentioned before, very important whenever you're considering mono teams. So, very good character. Alright, so next we have Sorey, I believe is how you pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I mess up any of these names, but I'm doing the best I can on that. But basically she's going to be the final character on our list that we're going to go in depth with. What makes her good is her ability called Bolt Tempest. Now it does decent damage. It's a 320% damage, and it does an 8-hit combo, so that's all good. But what's really important about it is that it applies the debuff Wildfire. Now Wildfire is a debuff where once that debuff is applied to them and they receive damage, that damage will then be applied to their other team members. A portion of it will then be applied to the other team members. So you can really start whittling people down, and it's particularly effective in PvP. So this is definitely a character that you want to spend some time with, especially for PvP. And yeah, she's just a very good character. Nothing to scoff at here. Now, if you guys are using this to re-roll or whatnot, just make sure that you pay attention to the part that I said about Estelle. I do personally feel like that is the way to go for your first character, because you can, as you guys know, pick specifically who you want. So I personally think that that's the best way to go, and then you kind of want to re-roll until you hit, I would say, if you really want to go hard, 3 or 4. But try to at least get 2 other SSR characters. But alright guys, well that will do it for this video. Thank you all so much for listening. If you guys disagreed with anything that I listed here as far as rankings are concerned, go ahead and put that in the comments if you want. I'm sure other people would love to hear why or why not. I'll hop in from time to time as well. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this one. I do have another video that is probably out already by the time you guys are listening to this, going over 10 tips. So if you guys want to hear my tips for this game, make sure to go ahead and give that one a listen. It's probably about to appear on the screen right now anyways. But yeah, thank you all so much. Hit the subscribe button and the bell, of course, for more notifications for any of the mobile games that we do. And that's it. Game on.